A young man in Nigeria sat across from his grandfather, his gaze distant, weighed down by the turmoil brewing within. The nation he loved was crumbling, its leaders peddling illusions of progress while the people suffered in silence. Finally, he broke the silence. "Grandfather, what must be done for this country to rise again?" The old man leaned back, his weathered face inscrutable. He exhaled sharply before responding. "Son, we cannot do much until the people first see and accept that something is wrong with the leadership of this country." The young man frowned. "I don't understand, Grandpa." His grandfather's eyes gleamed with quiet sorrow. "Time will teach you, my child. A nation begins to fall when its leaders and their loyalists defend the indefensible." The young man's brow furrowed. "What do you mean?" The old man sighed. "There's a story about a king who walked through his palace with no clothes on. Yet, his palace staff insisted he was the best-dressed ruler and even boasted about how he dressed better than other kings. Anyone who dared to criticize his appearance was met with hostility and punishment." He paused before continuing. "This went on for years. But one day, a wise observer entered the palace, looked closely, and made a startling discovery. The palace workers had been blinded upon taking their positions." A chill ran down the young man's spine. "Blinded? Everybody?" The old man nodded. "Yes, my child. Every worker in the palace. Blinded so they couldn't see the king's bareness. In our country, many suffer from the same blindness, blinded by tribalism, party loyalty, money, and the fear of change. This blindness prevents them from seeing the truth, questioning their leaders, or demanding better. Some even grow accustomed to it and prefer to remain that way because it is easier to stay in the dark than to face an uncomfortable truth." The young man clenched his fists. "Unbelievable." His grandfather nodded. "Exactly. But a leader who is never questioned is destined to fail. How can they rule wisely if they cannot see their own flaws or hear their people's cries?" The young man exhaled deeply, his expression firm. "You are right, Grandpa. Blind loyalty is the worst thing that can happen to a country. It allows leaders to rule recklessly, without accountability." Thanks for listening. Avoid blind loyalty. It destroys a nation.